Sergio Ramos said that his dream is to play in the upcoming World Cup for Spain, 20 months after his last call-up. Speaking on Tuesday, November 1st, ahead of Paris Saint-Germain's Champions League clashing at Juventus on Wednesday, that is today, the Spanish defender said that he hopes he might be in with a chance of selection. Ramos was left out of the Euro 2020 team, has won 80 caps for Spain. He won the World Cup with the national team in 2010 as well as in 2008 and 2012 European Championships. Truth is, Sergio Ramos is no spring chicken, and he is far along in age, but defenders historically mature into the best version of themselves, hit peak ability at from like 28 upwards to maybe even 40. We see what Thiago Silva is doing for Chelsea, and he's going to be on his way to Qatar for the World Cup. So does Sergio Ramos have good reason, even with his recent injury record that made his first season at PSG so stop-start? Is he in with a chance of featuring for Spain in the World Cup?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I feel like one precious feature for country that dominates on the global stage is that they keep their veterans even up to old age. I was surprised to even realize that the likes of Gingerly Buffon is still active in goalkeeping, even over 40. We know Abramovich, although he doesn't feature that much for his country, he's still featuring for AC Milan when fit. So if Sergio Ramos feels fit, why not? Fortunately for him, he's picking up the games and appearances this season. He has 11 games in 12 for PSG. He's played all 5 games in the Champions League for PSG. So the guy is feeling fly, and he's 36. He's even younger than Thiago Silva, and Thiago Silva is playing almost every game for Chelsea, well, until recently. So Sergio Ramos has every right to want to feature the global stage. Who doesn't want to play in the World Cup? If you tell Abramovich to go back to Sweden at the moment just to feature in the World Cup, he would put his ego aside and feature in the World Cup. So Sergio Ramos wants to be seen. He knows he still has years, not years, but he still has days in his legs. And the World Cup is what, 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks maximum. He's definitely going to survive.
Injury is something that can be so hard to recover from for veteran players. At 38, Thiago Silva is often wrapped in cotton wool. Any sort of little niggle, Chelsea immediately take him off, preserve him, so that they can have the best of him available when the season is getting towards its high peak period of games, of intensity, and of importance in terms of qualifying for the last stages of the Champions League, the last few games towards the end of the season in the Premier League. But when you talk about World Cup and tournaments such as the World Cup, there is so much intensity in such a short time that if the player gets injured within the first couple of games, the manager has missed out on his availability for the rest of the competition because the player is not as able to recover from injuries as he once was when he was younger.
Well, that's one angle to look at it. But if you look at it from the flip side, was it in 2021 or in 2020 when the Euros took place? Bonucci and Chiellini jeered Italy to glory at the Euros at their 30s, or let's say mid-30s, because they were of age. You go back to Euro 2016 where they legendary Cristiano Ronaldo also helped Portugal. He was injured in the final and was still like a form of moral support on the touchline. You could see him even in the Spanish La Liga. He wasn't playing too many games because the coach knew when to play him and preserve him for the big stage because of the Champions League. So coaches, backroom staff, physios, they know how to keep these players in check. These players are not just open to medical assistance at their clubs. They are also open to medical assistance for their country. So it is one thing for us to say he may get injured, speaking about Sergio Ramos. It's another thing to say, what if he remains fit?
All right. I suppose you're right. Experience is definitely a key factor. Knowing what Thiago Silva is performing right now, knowing what Bonucci is still doing at Juventus, and for how long Chiellini was doing the same thing at Juventus, you start to wonder whether the number one thing a manager should consider in a tournament like the World Cup should be absolutely experience, championship mentality, understanding of the stakes, which many of the youngsters aren't able to. The likes of Eric Garcia in Barcelona still suffers from a lot of lapses in judgments, lapses in concentration. So I think you're right. I would be in, if I was in the manager's shoes, I would seriously consider Sergio Ramos as well for selection. Now,
you would also, sorry to cut in, you also remember even home base, talking about Nigeria, the likes of Aribo West played until their prime age, the like of
Gbenga?
of recent memory played. Can you hear me?
Yes, please continue.
So I was like, even when we bring it home, talking about Nigeria, we have examples of the like of Joseph Yobo of recent memory playing up to his prime age and captaining the side, the likes of Haribo West playing up to the prime age and also being instrumental for the Super Eagles. So it cuts across all denominations. We have veterans who, as long as you keep expecting to get injured, they still age like fine wine.
Fine wine is right. Now, if I was a fan who was going to be paying to go see the Qatar World Cup, players like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, veterans who have always inspired the game in the last, say, 20 years, would be the quality stars that I would want to always see. But for the young stars that are coming up right now, Erling Haaland isn't going to be at the World Cup. And so is Martin Odegaard, two players that play for Norway. Are some of these quality players, are we going to miss out on the opportunity to view and experience these players at the best tournaments in the world, international football competitions, simply because of the fact that they don't play in a big enough team like France, like Spain, like Germany?
Well, it just brought back the thoughts for me. I had this conversation with Edwin early in this year, and I joked about the fact that how I wish countries could engage in summer transfer window or winter transfer window where they can buy or sell players and exchange nationalities. Because I want to see Erling Haaland at the World Cup. I want to see more of Odegaard. I want to see more of Mitrovic. Lewandowski with Poland, we know as an individual player is legendary, but the Polish team, how many times have they gotten to the semi-final? So I want to see Lewandowski play in the finals of the World Cup. But if wishes were horses, beggars will ride on it. I don't think we can eat our cake and have it. That said, we also have the likes of Vinicius Junior. We have the likes of Bellingham. We have the likes of Mason Mount, Maddison, all these guys coming from the run. Phil Foden for Man City. These guys are still young, and we can see them perform for their countries. Reece James, if he miraculously comes back from injury and features for England, I'm sure fans all over the world want to enjoy the finesse to pull back.
All right, thank you.
All players, especially Ramsdale, they have young players that will feature at the World Cup.
Thank you, Gbenga. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
It's a pleasure for having me. Thank you very much.
We'll speak soon. Thanks again. Now, to everyone at home, I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for joining us here on Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I'll leave you with Novak Djokovic, who got his defense of his Paris Masters title off to a steady start, beating American Maxim Cressy 7-6-1, 6-4 on Tuesday, November 1st. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. As always, life is never boring with some sports. Have a wonderful day.